Welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. So Shadow is a Chinese film released back in 2018 by award-winning director Zhang Yimou, and now it is available on Netflix. And so the general story is there are these two kingdoms, Pei and Jing, and they basically have this very shaky truce where they're not in war, but there's a lot of tension in there and they could go into war at any time. And so the main character that we focus on here is the commander, Commander Ziyu, his wife Xiao Ai, and his shadow. Now we also have the king, his younger sister, and we also have other people involved and also the other side of Jing as well. But it's mainly focused on the commander, his shadow, and his wife Xiao Ai. And what a shadow is, it's basically a body double. It's there to keep the main person from, getting killed or assassinated whenever they're out in places and situations that they don't want to be in. And so the shadow is more and more becoming who the commander used to be. And at the same time, everybody thinks that this is the commander, and it doesn't seem like anybody knows that this is not really him. And so that's kind of where we get our story. And also there is a lot of relationships being built or have been built. There are stories of betrayal, mystery, and of course there's going to be some action in this as well. But the main story is around these three central characters. And so getting into the things that I enjoyed, or I would say absolutely love about this film, is the look. Zhang Yimou, if you're not familiar with him, he's been doing movies for a very long time. He's done many movies, but the movies that I think most people would be familiar with outside of China are movies like The House of Flying Daggers and Hero. This movie is absolutely beautiful. It has this very muted look, almost black and white, I would say, but at the same time, there's just shades of colors in certain moments. And so if you think about a movie like Pleasantville, that was all black and white and there were some moments of color. So it's not quite at that extreme, but just when you look at it, it's just visually stunning. And it was done on purpose. So every single frame in this movie looks like a beautiful painting. Whether it's something really simple, like maybe it's just panning around different doors or showing people doing something, or a brick, a ring. It just looks so good. And then when it goes out to much bigger types of cinematography where you see a much wider shot, there's a lot of things going on. It's just absolutely breathtaking. I can't say enough about the stunning visual quality, because Zhang Yimou, he's known for the look because he used to be a cinematographer before he became a director. And if you watch any of these other movies, they pretty much have that very stunning look. But in this case, because it is more muted, it's a lot different than his other movies where there's just a lot of color. So if you are the type of person who loves the look of a movie, cinematography, then this is up there. This is masterclass. And so the next thing that I really enjoyed about this movie are the actors and actresses. Now, the characters and story themselves, they're not really anything, I would say, super original, although there are some really good twists and turns. But the way in which these actors and actresses played these characters, especially the main character, I think the actor's name is Deng Chao. He plays both Commander Ziyu and the Shadow, did a fantastic job. Even though he was the same actor, when I was watching this, I could not tell. I just thought they were completely different actors, and that was such a good job. Xiang Ai, the one playing his wife, I think her name is Sun Li. She does a very subtle job in this, where the acting comes through her expressions. You could tell so much emotions just from her acting. And I would say all the other actors and actresses, they did a great job. I really enjoyed this. Even when the characters don't have a lot to them, the way in which the actors portrayed this, it was just a really, really good job and really brought you into this world. And then I would say the final thing that I really enjoyed about this movie is, even though it was a very slow-paced movie, I enjoyed every single moment. It was so interesting, so captivating. I wanted to see what was going to happen. I wanted to see this world that they're building, and also mostly the emotions that surround us. Because of all the great acting and the way in which the story was told, you feel really emotionally invested, and I just wanted to keep watching it. And so that is another mark of, the mastery that Zhang Yimou has produced with this movie. It's just really interesting, despite the fact that it's not a fast-paced movie. For serious YouTubers, check out TubeBuddy, the premier tool news at geekoutdoors.com. Get more done today by checking out the affiliate link in the description area below. So getting into the things that I didn't like about this film is, well, it is a slower movie. And so if you were the type of person who was expecting a Chinese martial arts film with a lot of action, it does have action in there. And when it does it masterfully. It's just that is not the point of this movie. And if you watch any of these other movies, it's pretty much the same thing. If you think about, House of Flying Daggers or Hero, there is action in there, but it's really a slow-paced movie. It's a slow burn. And so I wouldn't expect that going in. But if you did, then you might be disappointed because it doesn't move at that pace. And then another thing that I didn't enjoy as much is the fact that even though there were some nice twists and turns, as I stated earlier, the story and characters you probably have seen before. And the thing is, most of the characters, besides the main ones, they're really not fleshed out, or even the main ones as well. And I don't think that was the whole point that Zhang Yimou, he really didn't want to focus on their backstory too much. But if you wanted to know more about these characters, to dig deeper, you probably won't get that here. And then the final thing I would say about this movie is very similar to Zhang Yimou's other movie. This is a movie put in reality, but at the same time, there's a lot of fantasy elements, and so you kind of need to suspend your disbelief, especially when there's situations like, there's one technique that they learn, which magically allowed them to beat this really powerful enemy. And you see what I mean whenever you watch the movie. And so I would just say, just try not to think too much about how things are done. In terms of like how they ended up, beating these enemies, or how did they come up figuring things out. Just, focus on how the story is being told, the characters, and enjoy it, And if you go from that point, I think you will really, really appreciate a lot of what this movie has to offer. And so those are my thoughts on Shadow. It is one of my favorite movies this year, probably on my top list somewhere, because it was that good. I really did enjoy Zhang Yimou's other movies, but I think this one, for me, this will be a movie that I go back to over and over again, even if it's just not for the story, just for the visual quality, the technical aspects, the mastery and skill that he uses to bring you into this world is, for me, something that is really awe-inspiring. And so those are my thoughts on Shadow. If you have any of your own, if you've seen this movie or any other movie similar to this, be sure to leave that in the comments area below. And if you want to see some of my other international films or other action films that I've watched, I'll also leave a link to my playlist in the description area as well. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. Hey geeks, if you are a creative geek like me and you wanted to learn how to create content on YouTube and other places on the internet, then check out my Gold Content Creators Group, where you'll get access to 30 videos plus additional content for all the creative geeks out there. And the best part of it is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and sign up for my Gold Content Creators Group. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side. Thanks for checking out this episode. And as always, if you like these videos, be sure to click on the subscribe button. And for full written content, audio content, and additional geek stuff, head over to geekoutdoors.com, and I'll see you outdoors on the very next episode.